Your IELTS trainer, and in this lesson we are going to focus on your writing task in specific, and this one is for writing task 1 in your general and your academic IELTS. So again, we have discussed all kind of strategies that needs to be followed when we are doing or when we are writing anything. Now is the time to put it all up, to bring your grammar, to bring your writing strategies into one place and write. So let me just share my screen and let's see what are the agendas for today. So we are going to approach IELTS writing task 1, right? It will be both your reading, your general and your academics. So it's going to be both, right? So then we will focus on structuring and organizing your response and engage in activities to practice writing clear and concise essays, right? So let's move ahead. What is IELTS writing task 1? In the IELTS writing academic test, writing task 1 requires you to describe, summarize, or explain information. So you will get a chart sort of a thing. You just have to describe that pictorial image. You may be asked to write about a graph, chart, table, or diagram. So you have to explain that. In the general, however, you have to write a letter in response to a given situation. So it's general letter writing skills. So the key features of task 1, what to include in your response. You need to give an overview. So you need to provide a summary of the main features that are highlighted in the question. If the question is asking you for some particular information, make sure that you are adding that information. You need to put on details. So you need to highlight specific data points. You need to compare. So there should be comparison between two different datas. And you should follow the trend. Structured, you need to make paragraphs. So again, like how we discussed before, there should be an introduction, your body paragraph, I would say, which is your main paragraph where you will explain. And then you have your summary. And then there would be a conclusion. You need to use appropriate language depending on what kind of question it is and what it is demanding, right? So you need to be vigilant with that. So activity 1 is, okay, so we will not do these activities. Now, let me share my screen once again to the document that we are going to do. This is the exact questions that you will get for your IELTS. So task 1. So this is academic task 1. You should spend about 20 minutes on this task. So you only have 20 minutes. The map below shows an industrial area in the town of Norbiton. So we are talking about some industrial area. And plan future development of the site. And we will, the other part will show the future development. So right now it's talking about the area now in the present. And the second part is showing about how it will develop, what changes would be there. So you have to summarize those changes. This is given in pictorial form. You just have to write in words, right? So it's that. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. So you have to make comparisons. Now, this is the chart. I will just zoom out a little bit. So you can see the difference. Farmland, right? So future development, this represents factories. So right now, these are the factories. But in future, this is going to be, and this is the housing, right? So we see that factories would be less because previously there were more factories. Now it is going to develop more of housing areas. So the housing areas are developing. There is going to be a playground, a school, a medical center, shops, etc. And then the farmland is going to be in that part, right? So they also have given you a small compass so that you can analyze what I would say direction is there. So north, south, east, west. You can mention that towards the north, there is going to be a farmland, or towards the north, there is going to be a housing facility. Towards the south of something, there is going to be a playground. Towards the south of the farmland, you can say there would be a playground. So things like that. Now, We will start with the introduction, right? First of all, telling what is it about. So let me just change the color because green looks really weird. So the map illustrates the current layout of Norbiton Industrial Area and its proposed future development, because this is what we are asked about. Overall, significant changes are planned for the area. Significant means a lot, high level, like a significant amount of changes are planned for the area, including the transformation of industrial facilities into residential spaces. So again, now there are no factories anymore. Now it's all housing. So there is a change from factories to residential spaces, and the addition of new infrastructures such as shop, school, and medical center, right? So this is like whatever we have told, like, whatever we could summarize, whatever we could see in the first glance, and we have told about it. Then, in the present layout, the area is dominated by factories situated along. So now we are talking about this first image in specific. We are saying that in the present layout, in the current situation, the area is dominated by factories situated along either side of the circular road, with additional factories located to the east of this circle. So I have used my compass, which is given already. That would give you points. So towards the east, there are more factories. That's what it said. The area is bordered by farmland to the north and a river that runs parallel to the farmland. There are no residential or community amenities in the current industrial zone. So in the current one, there are no residential facility, or there are no other facilities besides factories. That's all. There is no pharmacy, there is no school, nothing. Now, in the proposed development, now we are talking. First, we gave the summary, right, or what we saw in the first glance, that there are significant changes, and in the next paragraph, we are going to talk about those significant changes. Then we talked about the current plan, which is picture 1. Now we will summarize the second plan in detail, the picture 2. So in the proposed development, the factories will be replaced by housing units. Additionally, which means in addition to this, several new features are planned. To the west of the circular roads, shops will be constructed. So again, to the west of the circular road. So again, if we see this side is west, shops just to the west of the circular road. So this is the west side, right? To this side, there would be shops. This is the circular road. You can say to the east, there would be a medical center, while a medical center will be added to the southeast of the circle. A playground is planned near the middle of this area, and a school will be constructed to the far east. Again, so using all the directions with the compass that is given to you, you can write in a better way, just explaining it all out. If there is no compass, then yes, you can use directions, or you can probably make a comparison of how many shops are there. It has doubled, it has tripled. You can use these things, but if the directions are given to you, I would really suggest using those directions. Moreover, the existing road network will be expanded, and a bridge over the river will connect the developed area to the farmland in the north. Housing will also be built along the southern edge of the site where a factory currently stands. So housing would be given, made, schools and playground, you can talk about that. And then there would be a bridge. So this how do I know there's a bridge? Because of this. Usually it's a sign of a bridge, right? So something like this is a sign of bridge. Now again, the more questions you practice, the more you would know, the more information like this you would start to know, right? So that's it. In summary, the planned development will completely transform the industrial area into a mixed-use residential and community zone. So now I'm just summarizing. In summary, the planned development will completely transform the industrial area. So the industrial area is transformed into a mixed use of residential and community zone with modern facilities and enhanced connectivity. So connectivity is getting enhanced. There are modern facilities. So all of those things are there. Sorry, I have a little cold. Then you have, this is how basically you will plan your IELTS academics, right? Your general task one is a little different, right? And we will focus on that. It's usually letter writing. So your writing task one is that you should spend about, again, 20 minutes on this task, but it is letter. You work for an international company and you like to spend 6 months working in its head office in another country, right? So this is what you have to, this is your goal. So write a letter to your manager in your letter. Now, this is important. You need to explain all these 3 points. This is something that you need to focus on. Explain why you want to work in the company's head office for 6 months. Say how your work could be done while you are away. Ask for his or her help in arranging it. So you need to say, I need some ideas on how I can do it. You need to explain how my work will be handled. So you can say that I will ask my colleague Sally to help me on this. She understands we have shared a relationship, like a professional relationship, in a way that she is willing to help me. I have asked her. You feel that this is going to be really fruitful for your future career and you'll be able to add more to the job, etc., etc. Right? So write at least 150 words. You do not need to write any address, and just begin your letter with dear. So, dear manager, or if you have a manager's name, you can write that. But again, dear manager is fine. I hope this letter finds you well. So this part is all about, I hope you're doing well. I hope you are fine, etc., etc. It's like general salutation and basic letter etiquettes. Then you will talk about the reason. I'm writing to express my interest in working at your company's head office in XYZ country for a period of 6 months. I just made clear what is this letter going to be about, right? In the first paragraph. And that is all, right? You don't have to write anything else. Now, my question was, explain why you want to work, right? So I'm going to explain why. This opportunity would allow me to gain valuable experience in understanding the company's operations at a global level, while also enhancing my professional skills in an international environment. I believe that exposure to the head office processes and strategy decisions will significantly benefit my career growth and allow me to contribute more effectively upon my return. So, you need to make sure you are not saying that it is only for me, but it is also for your company, right? I will be able to, whatever I have learned, I'll be able to put in my current job and I'll be able to perform better in my current job, right? It's not that you are going to learn from the head office and then you are just going to, change careers. To ensure, now you're talking about how will you handle how will you handle your role at the current job. To ensure that my responsibilities are managed in my absence, I propose that XYZ colleague temporarily take over my duties. I have already discussed this with them and they are willing to assist, or they are willing to help. I will also remain available via email and phone for any urgent matters that may arise. I kindly request you to support. Now, this was asking for support or help in facilitating this arrangement, and I'm confident that this experience will benefit both my personal development and the company. So you need to talk about both your personal development and the company as well, because that is why a company will send you, right? Why would they just send you if they don't have any benefit in it? Thank you for considering my request. This is mandatory. I look forward to discussing this further. Best regards, and then you write your name. That's all. That's all that is there in letter writing. So I hope you were able to understand this, right? And I hope that this will work, right? Going back to what we were doing before. Tips for writing task one: analyze the data carefully. Make sure you understood what is there in the chart itself. Plan your response. Again, you need to make sure you have an introduction. You need to plan your layout. An introduction where you will summarize what you're going to write about. Body paragraph one can talk about the first picture. Body paragraph two can talk about the second picture. And then you have conclusion. Use a variety of sentence structures. So you can use, again, complex sentences, compound sentences, add a lot of details like, I would say, additionally, moreover, in addition to this, in summary, in conclusion, firstly, lastly, finally, even though, not only, but also, all these conjunctions. And be clear and concise. That is our priority. Make sure you are clear and you are concise. Some mistakes to avoid: not include an overview. Always make sure you have summarized your points. Always give a summary. Your intentions should be clear in the beginning, and in the end, you should be able to summarize your points. Misinterpreting the data. Make sure you are not misreading the data. Make sure that the data is clear to you, what it is saying. Being too descriptive. Do not focus on a lot of descriptions. Just explain that one point in one easy, simple line, and that's all. Don't go into details, right? Don't have to talk about details in any case. Using informal language, again, with letters. Until and unless it is to your friend, you will not use an informal language. You cannot use slangs. With describing and summarizing a chart, again, you cannot use slangs. So that is pretty much it for your IELTS writing practice 1 in academics and general. I would really suggest you to go back, redo all that we have done today, take a look and try to make some writing yourself. Try to write task 1 in IELTS academics. And if you're doing general, you can also go ahead and start writing letters. Make sure you have a plan layout. Make sure you are able to understand everything and then work on it, right? So I think that is pretty much it for today, for this lesson especially. You will get a lot of questions online, or you can just make it up as well. If you need any resources, you can definitely reach us out for help. But eventually, you will get a lot of material online. Start writing. The more you write, the more symbols you will, start to understand. The more comparisons you will be able to make, especially in your academics task 1. As for the letter, make sure there are like a certain things like your beginning, which is always almost the same, and your ending, the ending line, which is always almost the same. So make sure you have practiced that enough, because again, in the end, practice is the key here. So with that being said, that was all about writing section 1, and I hope to see you in the next lesson.